Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shadows of Khadesa. Thank you for joining us again. This is Chapter 5. Before we jump in, I'm going to let our players introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Brady, and I'll be playing Kai.
Hi, I'm Gray. I'll be playing Savon.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I'll be playing Akari.
I'm Miles, and I'll be playing Quinn.
And I'm Zelfa, and I'll be playing Minji.
And I'm Erin, your host and dungeon master. Last we left off, the late night rainstorm has been kind of just overcasting Khadesa. And in the center of the city, over the temples and the library and the academy, a strange entity kind of started emerging from the various buildings, threatening various individuals at the center of the city. Some of our heroes tried to fight this thing off, being left with the mystery of figuring out what exactly this inky black darkness, this dark entity that had seemingly come out of nowhere was. In the meantime, some of our other heroes across other areas outside of the city or towards the city outskirts enjoyed kind of a brief little moment of peace, followed by some investigation. Now, some of our heroes have gathered together at the center of the city, just outside the inner sanctum, having made their way through the main temple grounds to the kind of inner courtyard of the temple area, just outside this small building known as the inner sanctum, which is a small little area that is really only accessible by the Oracle himself and the Council of Speakers. The Council of Speakers have begun to gather a sort of emergency meeting in order to determine what exactly this thing was and if there's a risk that it might come back. In the meantime, a handful of our individuals are gathered out front. Akari, who has accompanied the speaker of the Roasari, Ong Lai. There is Minji, who has made a new friend out of the speaker of Alat Loon, a woman named Nari. There is Kai, currently disguised as an elderly gentleman who has pursued his way here in the hopes of getting a little bit of an interview with Ong Lai following the meeting and is currently just waiting with the rest of the group. Savon, who has snuck away and is hiding in the shadows of this area outside of the inner sanctum. And finally, Quinn, who has just arrived on the heels of an Aarakocra by the name of Santhi, who is the speaker of Thessasari, or the Plane of Air. As we pick up the three of you outside, Akari, Kai, and Minji, you've kind of watched and waited as people have come and gone. The speakers that have been present now having gone to search for the other speakers to gather them into the inner sanctum. You've watched all of them arrive, and Savon, you've watched kind of from the shadows where you've taken perch to kind of observe these proceedings as the entirety of the Council of Speakers has gathered. The Council of Speakers consists of the Oracle, who has the kind of body and shape of a young child, face never shown, always wearing this kind of red and gold filigree mask, dark robes. He entered the inner sanctum first, while the remainder of the speakers kind of went off to find the others. The speakers of Il Astra, or the Plane of Radiance, are a set of twins with kind of mixed feline and canine features. Following them, Ong Lai, who you know as the Fire Genasi, and the speaker of the Roasari, or the Plane of Fire. There is a dragonborn that has finally been summoned, has blue scales, very lithe, elegant body, wearing sort of kind of fisherman style garb. He's a man by the name of Hara Aito, and he is the speaker for Osanthalis, or the Plane of Water. There is Nari, with whom Minji has become familiar, a human woman, very elegantly dressed, who is the speaker for Alalun, or the Plane of Shadows. There is a Naga who appears slightly later at the behest of some of the other speakers. This is a woman by the name of Vin, and she is the current speaker for the Yadasim, or the plane of Earth. And then finally, having finally been tracked down outside of the city walls in his little sanctum, is Santi, the previously seen as human, now revealed to be an Aarakocra with very crane-like features, and the speaker for the plane of air, or Thessasari. The council now gathered, the doors to the inner sanctum closed tightly. This is a very secretive sort of place. Ikari, you got a small glimpse of it when Onglai allowed you entrance to show you the kind of reflective pool and the tree in the center. But now, as the four of you, with Savan also hiding off in the shadows out of sight and out of the knowledge of the four of you gathered near the doors. The rain continuing to pour down, although it's becoming a little bit more of a drizzle now, a little bit lighter, the sound of thunder starting to recede off in the distance. What are all of you doing?
I'm gonna first put my Naginata away because probably shouldn't have that out in the temple. So I just kind of like flick my wrist and it collapses back into that little cylinder, and I put it in a little pouch on my belt. And so Kai and Quinn are with me, correct?
And Minji.
And Minji.
So you recognize Kai, who's kind of been around the library. Minji and Quinn are kind of strange newcomers.
Because I met Minji with Nari,
coming in,
but I didn't talk with them. Okay.
And then Quinn has just arrived.
I'm going to look at this group and I'm going to walk away and try and do what Lai told me to last time and try and find a way to peer into this inner sanctum. Because he said I could, ahead. So I'm going to try.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a perception check. Okay.
Or a 23. So as crazy high.
Walk around the building. There are several like small little slits higher up on the walls of the inner sanctum in order to allow some light to enter, but are shielded by the roof from like rain and wind and things like that. As you kind of start to walk, as you get about like 90 degrees around this round inner sanctum building, you see a kind of large cherry tree that has been growing close enough to one of these slits that you could pretty easily climb up onto it and kind of peer in or listen.
Can I do so sneakily?
You can certainly try. Make me a stealth check.
Oh no, I wasted my nat 20, didn't I? 18?
Okay, that's not
I don't have any pluses.
Not too bad. You kind of shimmy your way up the branches of this tree so that you can get your ear a little bit closer, kind of tune out the sounds of the rain and things like that. As you get a little closer, you can see just through the slit. I'll let you carry over that natural 20 perception to what you're seeing inside.
Thank you.
You can see in just a little bit. It is dark, but with your dark vision, you can see, at least in grayscale, kind of what is going on. The Oracle is currently sitting at the base of this large tree in the center of this room, surrounded by this very, very serene pool of water. Most of the other speakers are kneeling or otherwise seated on cushions, kind of at the bank of this little pond, very similar to the area that you had approached when Onglai had shown you reflections in the water. As you approach, or as you kind of peer in, looking at what is going on, listening to the sounds of the conversation, you hear the various reports being given. Ong Lai is giving a report about what he has seen. Nari gives her report about what she saw. The twins also give their report about things that they experienced. They were in one of the smaller shrines in the temple when this broke out, and saw several individuals with these same glowing purple eyes. They seem to be either like they seem to be looking for something. The other speakers who were not present at the center of the city have very little to report, save for Hara Aito, the Dragonborn, who does report that he was outside the city, but he did see some of the strange going-ons above the buildings. However, that's about all he was able to glean. Following the brief reports that are given by the speakers who were able to see any of the strange proceedings from earlier in the evening, the Oracle kind of collects his thoughts for a moment and then speaks. His voice is very childlike. He kind of sounds almost like an adolescent. Voice still kind of higher pitched, but almost with a weird echo behind it. And his voice, as he speaks in the inner sanctum, kind of reverberates through the walls. Well, strange things have happened before in the past, although probably before any of your lifetimes. I wonder if this is related to the plague incident. It was over 100 years ago now, off in the Forgotten District. It might be worth checking something out. I have sent word to the head of the academy and the library both to do some digging and investigating. I hear something strange happened to the library as well. I'll continue to look into that, but I think it might be wise to put together a group in order to see what's going on, perhaps in the Forgotten District, see if anything is amiss after the proceedings of tonight. At this point, Ong Lai speaks up. Well, if you are looking for volunteers, I would be happy to volunteer my protege, you could call her.
I give like a yes, just silent cheer to myself.
I am not exactly in the most, let's say, best shape that I've ever been in my life, and the events of tonight have certainly taught me that. But I do believe that Akari could handle it. At that point, Nari kind of raises a hand. I also well, he's no protege of mine, but we just met and he seems quite lovely, and perhaps he could be willing to participate. Ong Lai looks back at her. Oh, and that old guy. He seemed very excited about doing stuff. They're all just waiting outside. Why don't we just send them all?
Oh no.
The Oracle kind of glances back and forth. Honestly, it seems better than most ideas. I would like to keep you as the speakers directly out of this in case that this is something that threatens our well-being. We should probably take precautions and make sure that the sanctity of our orders are well protected throughout this time. But Lai, I will turn this over to you and your little shadow. If she is so willing as to volunteer to lead this little procession, then fine by me. Have her report back to us. You watch Lai give a nod, and the Oracle kind of stands up. Now, I shall consult the spirits, see if I can't glean anything from the realms beyond. Perhaps after something like this, they'll actually have something to say. You all are dismissed. Thank you for your time.
I'm gonna
Oh.
shimmy down that cherry tree.
1 second. Hold on. I didn't get a chance to say this, but Savon was going to do the exact same thing.
You were probably
so-
already like on the roof on the other side of the building.
Cool. Yeah. So he overheard all of that, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So the two of you would have overheard this. In the meantime,
Do I see her in the tree, though? Or am I on the opposite side?
make a perception check for me.
Cool. Because I just want to see, like...
As I roll an 18 for stealth.
Let's roll my blue baby. Not bad. Plus I have 21. Got
You
plus 5, baby.
notice as you are listening in, there seems to be somebody further along on the other side of the building, kind of shimmying into the branches of a tree to do something very similar to what you are doing.
So I'm listening, but I'm also like, I would probably creep around a little bit just to get a better sight of this girl dressed in very nice clothing, clambering up into this tree.
Partially armored,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm very
He's just,
fancy.
tree, like
Looks
one
so
eye
good.
peeking through one of these slits.
My tail's
Probably
probably
just-
just like methodically. Oh boy.
Yeah. You look like a cat stuck in a tree, and he's just like, just kind of rolls his eyes and shakes his head, but he stays out of sight.
As you kind
So-
of back onto the rooftop, hearing this meeting kind of coming to an end. Quinn, Minji, and Kai, what have you been doing as this conversation has been happening behind these heavy doors? You watch Akari walk off.
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Kai would have actually sent Bayu out, since he's way better at hearing than I am, to try and at least overhear. And in the meantime, found like the nearest bench and sat down and just pretended to have fallen asleep.
Quinn and Minji, the second that Akari walks away, you just see Kai kind of like on one of the little stone benches in this courtyard, just like lean his head back, rain falling on him. He's kind of got his hood up to keep the rain out of his eyes.
Didn't Kai's disguise self drop at the end of last session?
I think it did, but he's like kind of covered himself back up.
Okay.
If I had to re-up it, I would have.
Okay. It looks like this little old man just taking a nap on a bench.
I think Quinn would have just started. He looks at his like stack of fish, looks around, looking for wood, or like a place to cook.
There are definitely, I mean, you're in what is essentially a garden. But it is also raining.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh. What would he do? What would he do?
Do you know prestidigitation?
He do.
I mean, you can warm something with prestidigitation, so...
That's true.
Just constantly warm this fish.
I forgot I had it last week.
It's so clutch.
It is. I never have this spell ever
Mm-hmm.
for some reason. Actually, he's still in his like funeral kimono.
Yep.
Has that been all like muddied up and all that
It's
by now?
getting a little dirty.
Okay, yeah,
Been like
he
sitting on the riverbank fishing.
okay. He casts prestidigitation to clean himself up a bit. Maybe a nice lavender smell.
Savan and Akari, you get this like faint whiff of lavender as you're like perched in your various observing spots.
I like glance over. I see an old man, a cat boy, and a boy in a funeral outfit. And I wonder if this is some sort of weird joke, but I stay out of it.
They walk into a bar.
Excuse me, I'm a cat man.
Sorry, you
Man.
look like a boy from where I'm crouching, so sorry.
It's all dark here.
Yeah, he'll do the same thing, and he'll warm up the fish best he can. hopefully to an edible level.
As you do, your little bird friend kind of hops down, lands on your wrist, and starts like pecking at it.
Oh yeah, this one's all yours.
Cute.
How big is the fish in comparison to bird friend?
The same size as the bird.
Oh, goodness. Oh. He looks over at Minji. Do you happen to have like a knife on you or anything?
Minji kind of
I need to cut this up into bird-sized bits.
Minji kind of like stops in his tracks because he thought about following Akari, and then he like turns to look at Gwen, and then he kind of like pats himself down as if he's trying to find pockets on him. Sorry, I don't have anything like that on me.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe that old guy over there.
Minji looks over at Kai.
He looks like he's sleeping. He thinks it's kind of like he doesn't want to be rude. He's not going to disturb the old sleeping guy yet. All right, he'll just kind of like break bits off as best as he can, feed the bird, take little bites himself, and
You like tear little bits off. This little bird next to you, just scarfing pieces down. A moment later, you hear the doors of the inner sanctum being pulled open. These heavy wooden doors, and as
Would I have been able to like shimmy down my tree and like
yeah, as soon
arrive
as
back?
you heard them adjourning their meeting, you kind of head back down the tree as Akari comes running back.
Kind of make it look like I've been standing there the whole time.
This fuzzy little creature returns to your shoulder, Kai, kind of gives you like a little bit of a nuzzle. As you kind of sit up just in time as these doors open. Onglai emerges from the inner sanctum, glances around. Oh, good. All still here. Oh, who's the one with the fish?
I came here with Santhi.
Oh, he turns around. They're all copying me. Now everybody has a little friend. Doesn't matter. Anyway, well, Akari,
Yes, Lai.
we have been in discussion about some strange incidences that apparently occurred about 100 or so years ago. Ended up in
Yes, the plagues.
Yes, yes. Oh, you've been studying. Very good.
You're a good teacher.
I am. And he like kind of glances at Nari and Santhi and is like gives them a little eyebrow raise. Yes, I'm a very good teacher. So anyway, I'm for the enlightenment of your poor companions here.
Is that what they have to be?
Well, I think technically that's up to you, but this would be a great opportunity to hone your leadership skills.
Savon at that point is probably, definitely gotten down and is closer to like listening in. But I don't know if you want to account her perception check still, if she sees him sneaking around.
A new stealth check, Savon.
Pulling up the stamps. 11. Woo!
As you are like climbing down the roof, it's hard when you have prosthetic limbs to really be able to feel what is under you, and one of your feet just straight into a puddle just splashes off to the side. You kind of duck back, hiding out of immediate sight, but you see several heads kind of like turn in
Oh
that
shit.
direction, as several of the speakers seem to be wondering if there's somebody else, perhaps hiding around.
Just a fish. Just a stray fish. Got out of Quinn's pocket.
Lai glances, looks back to you, Akari. Well, on that note, the Forgotten District up in the northeast corner, it's been empty for a very, very long time since the whole plague incident. But perhaps there might be something to do with all of this creepy shadow business out there, and the Oracle would like to inquire as to whether there has been any strange activity out there.
Well, the Oracle's wisdom is infinite, so if he thinks it's worth a look, then I'm happy to oblige.
Great! You can take the old guy too. This will be great for his book.
I'm sure.
As he just kind of gives you this smile.
What of Shivane?
Ving?
Not
Shinoe?
Shivane. Shinoe, yes, no.
She looks so Lilac looks around for a second. Where did she go? I haven't seen her since the library.
I do believe
My
I left her
interests.
there.
Oh. I'll go check on that.
Preferably after we leave for the Forgotten District.
He kind of gives you a little bit of like a knowing nod. Of course. Don't worry. I shall regale her with all of my many stories.
I'm sure she will find them as riveting as I always do. Will we be leaving today, or is this something we may prepare for?
It's that is quite frankly up to you. Might be. Well, nobody's really been out that way for many, many years. Not exactly sure what you'd find during the middle of the night.
Tomorrow it is then.
It might be for the wiser. I shall go collect our dear Shinoe and give her a tour of the city.
I think that will do well.
There are many things to show her, and tomorrow I can go show her all of my favorite market stands, and perhaps she might be so kind as to assist me in my shopping.
I think she would do well. She needs to learn a little bit more manners.
Oh, don't we all? He starts to shuffle away. Good luck, Akari. Let me know what interesting sorts of things you find out there, and the rest of you try not to get killed.
I'll do my best to keep them in one piece.
He gives a little bit of a wave over his shoulder as he walks by. The other speakers kind of file past you all. Santhi looks to you, Quinn. You don't have to go if you don't want to, but it might be a good learning opportunity.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. As long as I get to go home and change first, I'm kind of a
Yes, you stand out a little bit in those clothes.
little bit.
Yeah, get cleaned up and do be careful. Your prowess at fishing seems to be coming along, but there are strange things in parts of the city, such as the Forgotten District. Don't let your head get the better of you.
Well, I made it this far.
Yeah, this is true. Well,
I haven't been saying all of this out loud. I've been like kind of like I don't want these people to hear me. Because like I'm kind of insulting them a little bit.
I
You probably
think
would have stepped a little bit away.
if you had said like don't like get like hopefully they won't die, if Quinn heard that, he probably would have just like been like mid fish, just like roar.
Oh yeah, well, I definitely said that out loud.
Oh,
Did
no.
I hear anything that did I hear what Akari was saying?
Make a perception check.
Because she mentioned Shinoe. What the fuck? It gives me one good roll, and then I'm done with this dice. It's fine. I rolled a 2, so that's a whole total of 7. Woo!
No. You hear Lai mention that hopefully the others don't get killed, because he says that overly loudly. But other than that, like their conversation kind of goes back to hushed whispers off to the side. Quinn, as Santhi looks to you, well, you know where to find me when you're ready for more training. Just follow your little friend.
I'll be there.
And Santi looks at the little bird. Do try to keep him alive. The bird kind of gives a nod.
I'll try to keep him out of trouble. Too.
Oh, yeah, he's not so much the one I'm worried about.
That's fair.
As he starts to walk away, following after Lai, the remainder of the speakers kind of leaving, the doors to the inner sanctum closing behind them. Nari stops briefly, turning her head to you, Minji. Well, are you going to go on this little expedition?
Of course. I mean, I have nothing else better to do, and I get to help. So that's all that matters to me.
I am quite interested to hear what you come back with. It's been a long time since my adventuring days, and I kind of miss it. But you know, the oracles all have to protect the council. I have to protect the city, and the usual.
Minji just kind of like nods his head as if he totally understands what she's saying.
Well, do have fun.
Oh, I'll try my best.
She kind of glides off behind the others, leaving the four of you with Sivan, foot still kind of in this puddle as you're trying to like not make any sudden movements just around the corner of the building, as the rest of you are left kind of in this drizzling rain.
Well, there's no sense in us going now. We'll just get stuck in the rain. Hopefully by tomorrow it will have lightened up and this day of misfortune will be over. We should meet back here tomorrow, having gotten whatever provisions or resources you may think you need, and we will go to the Forgotten City and decide what it is the Oracle has deemed worthy enough for this expedition. Is that satisfactory for all of you?
Kai's
Look
gonna,
at each of them expectingly, being like,
Kai is gonna shuffle up to Akari. Oh, it seems Speaker Lai has a lot of faith in you. I look forward to our partnership. And reaches out a hand to shake Akari's hand.
I kind of straighten up a bit and put my hands together and just kind of give a head bow. I look forward to seeing what you are capable of. Hopefully, it will be useful to all of us.
Oh, right. And Kai is gonna return the gesture and bow, but when he reaches the bottom, he's gonna kind of do this like full body shiver, and when he stands upright, this old man has de-aged like 70 years in like an instant, and he just says, well, I'll see you tomorrow, and he just like skips off.
I hope your parents know where you're going.
That's a kid.
That's not an old man.
What am I getting into?
I am taking a child into the Forgotten City. What of you two?
Well,
That one is clearly skilled in the arcane. And he is gone now.
real fast. Or maybe he's just small. You can't see him.
Probably close to his bedtime, I would imagine.
What time is it by now, by the way?
It's like the equivalent of like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh,
my God.
shoot!
Bedtime.
I gotta
It's way
go.
past his bedtime. Oh, shit. I mean, Santi said he would help me learn more about magic after this, so I guess
Do you
this is
not
kind of a
know-
test.
Do you not know magic? No.
I know a little. I know how to fish with it. I know how to cook with it, and I know how to clean with it.
Well, let
but
us
that
hope the
is
Forgotten
it.
City is infested with fish then.
Oh no. Maybe I'm in way over my head.
Well, if a speaker has faith in you, then who am I to discredit you?
I didn't think of that. Okay.
Though, forgive me for being intrusive, but you are wearing funeral colors.
Oh shit.
Are you not?
I am. Wow, the day really got away from me. We just put my father to rest today, so. Well,
She gives another slight bow. My condolences for your loss.
thank you.
Your name was Quinn, correct?
Quinvin,
Quinvin.
either one.
Well, I am Akari. You should...
Nice to meet you.
You as well. You should go mourn. For tomorrow there will be no time for that.
Yeah. They really got away from me. Yeah, I'm gonna. And he just runs off.
Tomorrow morning, back here.
Right.
Though I will understand if you do not come.
He'll remind me. The bird on his shoulder.
Bird kind of chirps a little bit as your shoes kind of just pattering against the wet stone as you head running back through the main temple out to the main entrance. Minji, what are you doing?
Oh, ever since Kai zoomed away, he just went back to like checking his pockets to see if he could still find that knife. And then he just kind of brings a small knife out of like the chest area of his hakama, and he kind of looks at it, looks up, notices that Quinn is gone. He's like, I guess I gotta give Funeral Boy this tomorrow, and he just kind of puts it back in like his chest area.
And you? Speaker Nari seemed to take great interest in you.
I honestly don't understand why. I just played music outside for her earlier today.
Well, I hope you can do more than play music.
Oh, I can.
Musician. Well, I hope to see it tomorrow then.
Oh, you definitely will.
Good. Well, like the others, you should get some rest. I'll be returning to my home as well.
Minji will just kind of nod his head.
Tomorrow morning, then.
Yep, bright and early.
Yes. Nari mentioned your name was Minji, correct?
Yes, it is.
It is good to meet your acquaintance, Minji.
He just kind of gives a quick little bow.
Well then, I'll meet you tomorrow. Good evening. And then
Good
I
evening.
turn, I go walk home.
It's the two of
Vaughn
you.
is gonna follow Akari.
Okay. As the two of you kind of make your separate ways through the temple, kind of heading off through the city to your respective destinations.
Oh, I grabbed my umbrella on the way out.
Parasol in hand, shielding off this little bit of a drizzle that's still coming down. Savan, as you kind of are creeping behind Akari at a distance, go ahead and make me another stealth check, please.
I'm not using that die anymore. I don't like that one.
I so want to see you.
Y'all, I'm supposed to. I can't wait till I get reliable talent. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. 9! 9!
Well, my
Oh, wait,
passive perception
10,
is 13. So what do I
10.
see, Aaron?
I'm rusting. That's what's happening. I'm a little creaky.
Sorry, as you are working your way through the streets, it's quiet. Most people have retreated back indoors. The crowd outside of the temple has dissipated. Many of them having kind of watched the speakers leave and then parted their own ways. About halfway to your destination, as you're walking kind of through these solitary streets of a drizzly, gray, middle of the night Khadesa, you hear kind of odd steps behind you. And at first you think it's just like the pattering of rain, but then they almost seem to match your steps.
Kind of make my footsteps a little unusual and see if they do the same.
I mimic her.
It's almost like your footsteps have a little bit of like a wooden echo.
Can I tell how far back behind me they are?
Savan, how far back are you hanging?
Not terribly far. Honestly, he's waiting for a moment. This is super freaking creepy, but he's waiting for a moment when they're definitely going to be alone. So he's probably not terribly far back, but if she can hear him through the rain, he's probably pretty close.
Probably within like 15 to 20 feet then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
15 to 20 feet. Okay. I am gonna duck behind a corner and I'm gonna wait for for Savan, I guess, to follow me
You slip
around the corner.
a little alleyway behind, like in between the backs of two little homes. There are some empty crates and barrels, things like that, kind of pushed into this alleyway as you kind of duck into this just small little alcove, essentially.
As soon as whoever is following me, it's Savan. As soon as he comes around the corner, I have my naginata against his throat.
Whoa! Okay, I would probably reflexively pull one of my blades. Actually, no, because I have the blade on my arm. My arm would probably be up, but I don't know if we could we would contest reflexes or whatnot, but
You hear, Savant, as you kind of start to turn the corner to follow Akari, you hear like the shink of metal expanding as all of a sudden, turning the corner, you catch that like faint glimpse of whatever tiny trace of light is in this city right now reflected against the metal blade of this naginata. As you kind of reflectively kind of take a step back, your arm raised in defense, the two of you kind of finding yourselves at a little bit of a standstill.
You've chosen a poor target for nightly antics. You should leave now while you still can.
I'm just trying to help.
By stalking me in the middle of the night.
Well, it's not my fault you decided to just up and leave. I wanted to talk to you in the temple.
Why didn't you say something then? Why be so sneaky?
Because I didn't want Catboy to overhear.
Minji,
Sure.
the
whatever his
musician.
name is. It seems, and I'm gonna use, because that arm is wooden, it's prosthetic. I'm gonna use that arm to like go over the blade and like wrap it around to pull it down. Not necessarily like grab it, but just get it like out of my face. Which seems weird because it's just no reaction to the blade at all. Toss it back down. So let me get this straight. You're being sent on a mission with a literal child, a man in mourning, and a musician. Kind of sounds like the opening of a joke.
And a future speaker. Am I the butt of that joke?
Well, that's why I'm here. To help it not be so laughable.
You are a comedian, in fact. Someone who can't even sneak behind me. What use would you be of in the Forbidden City?
Maybe I wanted you to hear me.
Insight check.
Go for it.
Can I use deception? Can I counter it?
Yeah, you can.
Cool.
Soft 20.
Oh no, that's fine. Big money, no whammies. Oh no! I got a 19.
Yes.
No.
Kari, you definitely something's not quite accurate about that statement.
You truly are a comedian. You think I am a fool.
Well, I mean, credit to you. You have very sharp ears.
And a sharper blade. As
Yeah,
you
I,
should
look
know.
at my arm.
But don't.
Shouldn't I? And I look at my arm, which is fine. Wooden, but fine. Listen.
Truth be told, I would prefer to go in there myself, without endangering them. Being a leader is good, but none of them seem as though they are very experienced with these kinds of things.
That sounds like suicide. Or
Sounds
sorry,
like a challenge.
Sounds like somebody who grew up out of the spotlight and wants it for herself. Sounds like a fool.
Being in the spotlight is something I am very much used to. Someone who lurks in the shadows would know nothing of light, though, now would you?
I know plenty of it, I just prefer to stay out of it. But, I mean, you're right. If you like the spotlight, just waltz right in there, get killed.
What difference does it make to you?
Not much. I just...
Do you think this mission is suicide? Why would you volunteer yourself to come along?
Because with me it wouldn't be.
And why is that?
Gestures at himself, dressed in like full ninja regalia with all of his like weapons. Do you not?
Would I know about the order?
Like, do you not know what this means?
Do I know what this means?
Give me a history check.
Oh, I'm proficient in that. Soft 20. I've gotten a freaking 19 and 18 and a 17 in a row.
You're stealing all my good rolls.
You, Akari, definitely know quite a bit about the order, having been kind of privy to various kind of conversations and gossip with amongst the speakers. You know quite a bit about this order and the different regalia and the imagery that Savon bears as being sort of an organization that kind of deals with sort of a little bit more like black market style thing, arms dealing and things like that. They've definitely got like a band of mercenaries too, and really have made such a name for themselves that they don't take just any job that comes their way. They're kind of the elite of the elite when it comes to the less open business in Khadesa.
Oh, yes, I'm very familiar with the Order of the Spider Lily, the Red Spider Lily. I'm also rather familiar that they don't do anything without profit or orders. Were you directed to do this?
No,
And why?
not directly directed.
Not directly directed.
Not quite, but not going to tell you. And I kind of give her a little teasing shake of my head.
But I also am very aware of the skill sets your group possesses. And I can put pride aside for one evening. It means a successful mission to the Oracle.
Do you really think it's only going to take one evening? With that band?
2.
I don't know. I think you should drop them.
And what, go into a forbidden city with you alone? I'd end up with my throat
Absolutely.
slit.
Would you? It's awfully presumptuous. Don't want to hurt that pretty neck. And I like take one of my daggers and like kind of point it at her neck a little bit.
You could try.
I'm not going to, because if I did, then you wouldn't take me on this mission.
I'm starting to think that I'm not going to.
All right, princess. And he like takes the knife and he puts it back away.
I'm noble, not a princess,
Close enough.
but far from it.
I'm sorry, should I bow?
You couldn't get low enough.
Ah, you're right. You're a little shorter.
Kind of tap my horns. Am I?
I pat the top of her head that's like here. Her horns are up here, but her head's like right here.
Can I like attempt to grapple him? Because he just touched me.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check, and then Savan, you can contest that with athletics or acrobatics.
Acrobatics, baby.
Oh no.
Natural 20.
Screw you! I got a soft 20.
I'm wasting all of my rolls, guys!
Soft 20. Whatever.
Savan, as you place a hand on top of Akari's head, you see one hand reach up to grab you as you kind of just slip your hand away, thinking you've got away, as the other hand just like grabs the top of your arm and like yanks you into a hole.
If you still want to come with us tomorrow morning after this humiliation, don't worry, I won't tell anyone important about this. You are more than welcome to join us in our suicide mission as you so put yourself. But the others will be joining us. Lai expects them to be there, as does the Oracle. 2 of them have been vouched for by speakers,
That's unfortunate.
as have I. And I let him go.
A little less so, and he stands up. Well, let's
Tomorrow
hope that
at dawn, meet us there.
you sure like talking over me, don't you?
You sure like taking orders, don't you? And I turn and walk away. And I'm gonna
He just,
go
like,
home.
Breathes and he shakes his head like, whoa. Good old what a woman. He like turns and heads back. He's going to go to the boss or at least find a way to whoever he needs to report back to.
As you return to the bathhouse, you find a number of people still gathered there. Several people that you recognize as being various members of this order, that inform you that the boss is still holding various meetings. And if you're willing to wait a good half an hour or so, he could see you. Or you could relay a message through one of them.
I look for Jin.
Okay. Go ahead and just make me an investigation check.
Cool. I'm probably gonna roll real bad on this too. It's fine. Oh! Haha! 19!
Okay. You ask around, asking if Jin is in the bathhouse or anywhere of the surrounding areas, and a number of people tell you they haven't seen him since he went on assignment a couple of days ago, and he has not returned yet.
That's lame. Well, he'll wait until he can go see boss.
Okay. Some time passes, and eventually the couple of guards who kind of guard that lower room, essentially a courtroom of sorts, come back to find you. Savon, you can enter.
I enter, get down, like bow, but it's still very nonchalant.
You still see that kind of like bamboo screen set up, the silhouette of a masked figure seated behind it on a cushion.
Mm-hmm. With my head down, I say, I did my best to follow your orders, but seems like this Shinoe slipped me after the city was overrun by shadows.
I heard about the incident in the center of the city. Quite a few reports coming in. It's going to be a late night. Were you there?
I was. And I was at the temple and overheard a speaker and meeting with the Oracle.
Do continue.
Well, they reported what they had seen, and it wasn't much, but they do want to send a group to the Forgotten City to investigate. I followed through as the group of rather incompetent, except one, made their way, and I spoke to the apparent leader, who seems to be Akari, the protege, so to speak.
The speaker to be, according to a lot of rumors.
Yes. Forgive me for being so forward, but I want to go.
There's a moment of silence.
I think it would be a wasted opportunity to gather information based on whatever the hell he goes to swear, and he kind of drags it out a little bit and catches himself. Whatever that was.
I agree. It would be good to perhaps get some information, and if we can get information ahead of certain other parties, it might suit us. Also, the Zakari you speak of, our client, I'm sure, would also pay for any information you could get about her. After all, she does stand in direct competition to his favorite candidate.
I was thinking the same thing.
Permission granted.
You can't really see, but he's smiling like, yes. He doesn't actually do that, but on the inside. Thank you. We are leaving tomorrow morning, and the speaker-to-be says that it should only take a day, but with the ragtag team of whatever has been brought along, it might take longer.
Very well. Report back when you can, and I will find somebody to keep an eye on this Shinoe in the meantime.
Perfect. I overheard that. No, wait. Sorry, Meta. He didn't hear that. He did not hear that part. Never mind. But thank you, Master. And I dip my head. Am I to be dismissed?
You are.
And I just stand up and walk out.
Right. As you walk out, heading to make your own preparations, the rest of you, Quinn, what are you doing for the remainder of the night?
Well, as soon as he gets home, he's going to change. Well, he's going to draw a bath, then change, and he's. I have a question. When he sold his father's equipment from his business, how much did he get for that?
You probably would have made about 100 gold for selling the business.
Okay, all right, good stuff. Almost forgot about money. He's also gonna look around for, I don't know, any tools or weapons that maybe belong to his father, because it might get dangerous where he's going.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Investigation. Not good at that. Oh, 16.
Okay. You find a couple of things that can be utilized as weapons. Your father, particularly in his later years, was definitely not much of a fighter, much less a soldier. But you can find there's a hammer, there's some, sharp objects, there's some nice kind of elegant knives.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Nothing ranged as far as he can tell?
Not really, unless you would like to spend some time crafting something.
Oh. You can do that.
Because you definitely have the materials within the kind of remnants of what your father had left behind in order to craft. You could craft a sling or some darts, things like that, pretty easily.
Okay, yeah, he'll craft some darts.
Okay. So you spend some time crafting these little kind of wooden and metal darts, finding these little barbed needles that you can place into these little dowels of wood, kind of adding some feathers onto them. Your bird companion kind of overseeing this entire process. You spend a couple of hours kind of cleaning yourself up, preparing some supplies for the morning. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, he'll just look through that journal a little bit.
Okay. As you kind of settle down to rest for the evening, taking out the journal that was given to you by the neighbors, the good friends of your father, you start to peruse some of the contents of it. Inside the journal are lots of your father's notes. A lot of it pertains to his business, ideas he had, or different transactions, people that he met. And things like that. Along with that, there are a lot of little personal reflections, little kind of anecdotes from his life in Khadesa, things that he wished he had been able to see, hopes that he had, And it kind of, you feel sort of connected to your father as you kind of glimpse through this journal of various just kind of musings and writings of from your late father. As you begin to drift off to sleep, you kind of fall into a sort of kind of lucid dream-like state, seeing before you kind of just the green fields outside of Khadesa, warm, lush, no rain, blue sky, no clouds, just the bright sun overhead. And you can see off in the distance the silhouette of a man who, as this kind of vision or dream, whatever it is, comes into focus. You recognize this man as your own father, who kind of just gives you a gentle smile, a knowing nod as he kind of turns to walk into the distance. And as he does so, you see the shape of a winged crane kind of forming in the silhouette of the sunlight, casting a long shadow over where you stand. And as that vision sort of fades off into darkness, you fall asleep, kind of a restless sleep. It's been a long day as you kind of settle in for the night. Kai, what are you doing with the rest of your night?
Kai is actually going to kind of skip off, and as soon as he's out of view of the rest of this group, is actually going to like run to the back to the library.
Okay.
Is the library still open? Are there any guards around? Anything like that?
As you get back, the library itself is closed to the public technically at this hour. However, the doors are still open as several of the monks, as well as the city guard, have been kind of coming and going through this. You see several people kind of gathered in the main floors. There's still kind of a flurry of activity as people are trying to clean up and process the events of the evening.
Okay. Kai is going to find kind of an area that's a little out of view of the entrance. And having spent some time in close proximity, I'm actually going to cast Disguise Self. And I want to take the guise of Speaker Lie.
Okay.
And I am just going to walk very purposefully through the front doors of the library.
As you do so, the guise of this dark red silk robe, phoenix embroidered on the back that you studied very closely over the last few hours. You walk in, chin up, shoulders back, shuffling a little bit as you'd seen him do, trying to disguise his age. As you do so, several of the monks and the members of the city watch who are gathered immediately notice your presence and turn, many of them bowing deeply in respect. One of the members of the city watch, Speaker, are you all right?
Kai's just going to kind of like give them a nod and keep walking like in towards where so Kai, having heard actually Akari mention the plague incident, feels a little out of the loop. And so I'm looking for the section, if there's a section of the library that would pertain to history or anything that would possibly get me in that direction.
You can absolutely find a section on history. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
That is a 15.
Okay. And then as you were searching as well, one of the monks kind of comes up to you. Speaker, is there anything that I could be of assistance in finding?
Kai very quickly is just going to kind of do his best Speaker Lie impression, just be like, no, thank you.
Of course. Go ahead and make me a deception check with advantage, because you do look like him.
That is a 17.
Okay. She kind of course, should you need anything, please do not hesitate to ask.
I just nod.
She kind of walks away. You hear in the distance behind you a couple of whispers of, oh, can't believe he's frequenting the library now. Do you think this is going to be a regular occurrence? As they're kind of whispering back and forth between the various monks. As you kind of search through the books, you find several tomes about the history of Khadesa, particularly related to some of the older history past some of the more recent decades. You do find several mentions of both the Forgotten District and this plague that occurred. It happened well over 100 years ago, probably bordering on more like 120 years ago now. And essentially, kind of an odd plague fell over Khadesa. And from the reports and the histories that have been written, it's essentially there were reports of strange behaviors, people described as becoming possessed by some sort of mania or driven by some sort of strange, almost unquenchable energy or force, and many of them would eventually just drop from exhaustion. The speakers at the time, under the direction of the Oracle, actually quarantined off a part of the city, kind of built in the wall, essentially, to quarter off the northeastern area of Khadesa. And those affected by the plague were kind of quarantined off there. When they sent clerics and healers in, they found the city abandoned and completely empty. The inhabitants that had been there were gone, no bodies, no really anything, possessions left behind. And it just became a ghost town. And since then, the Forgotten District has been sort of a ghost story within Khadesa. It's been one of those mysteries that now has become more of like an old wives' tale, but for many years was kind of like nobody went to that area of town. People who lived near there moved away just because of the rumors of bad spirits or demons or some sort of evil presence.
Because I am pretty observant, were there any similarities between what I read about the plague and what I saw with the like purple-eyed possessions, or what I was able to like gather from using detect magic earlier in the library?
Yeah, make me an Arcana check, actually.
That is a 15.
Okay. As you kind of search some of more of the arcane history books, trying to get a better sense as to maybe some of the writings of clerics or physicians, various people who may have had a better understanding of this plague, you do pick up on several references to a purpling of the eyes noted in some of these. However, it seemed to be a temporary symptom.
Okay. Kai's going to kind of take whatever notes he feels are meaningful into his little book, and then just kind of, with whatever acknowledgments he needs to, kind of make his way back out of the library, kind of prepared for the next morning. Once he's outside of the library, he's just going to drop the guise of Speaker Lie, and just kind of try to find somewhere nearby, like in an alley or somewhere, to kind of like camp out for the night.
Okay. You leave this area as you leave the library. There are kind of a series of like the houses of scholars located behind the library and the academy. They're pretty just like, they're kind of small apartment, almost style homes, overhanging bamboo roofs, that it's very easy to kind of find a little crevice to kind of take a nap in as you get some rest for the remainder of the night. Minji, what are you doing with your evening?
Well, I'm going to see if I can go back to get my shamisen.
You absolutely can do that. It is lying right where you left it.
Oh, good. I thought maybe it was gonna run off. So I'll take it, and then I'll put it, on my back, and then I'll head back outside.
Okay.
And then I'll find somewhere dry to sleep near kind of like where we're all gonna be meeting in the morning.
Okay. You find kind of underneath the main entrance of the temple, the bamboo roof hanging overhead, your shamisen next to you. The temple is now pretty empty. The people who have been here have dispersed, and it's very easy for you to kind of just curl up against the wall of the temple building, using the roof above you as cover to shelter you from the rain as the rain kind of turns into a drizzle. And then finally, by morning, kind of comes to a stop. Akari, following your little run in with Savan in the alleyway, what are you doing with the rest of your night?
I'm gonna go home to my fancy noble house and try not to make a scene. Just trying to be very quiet. I was here not the whole time, but I've definitely been here longer than getting home close to midnight.
Go ahead and make me a stealth check, if you will.
No, my luck ran out. I got a 2.
Oh, as you kind of gently try and push open the door, you notice almost immediately that there's still a light on inside. You hear a voice, the voice of your mother. Akari, is that you?
I kind of steady myself, and my disposition definitely changes. Like, no cocky smile or anything. Very dropped shoulders. Yes, mother, I am returning for the evening.
Quite late an hour. I have been worried.
There was a commotion today, and Speaker Lai required my assistance. I apologize for the late hour of my arrival.
As you kind of enter in the house, your mother, dressed in her nighttime attire, holding a lantern, kind of rolls her eyes. That Speaker Lai, always demanding of your attention these days.
He is rather fond of me. I seem to have grabbed his attention.
Well, I hope it will not be for nothing in the end.
No, of course not. I would never dream of doing anything that would not lead to the accomplishments of our family.
Good, and I heard rumors, whispers, the gossip of things that were going on in the center of town. I heard a rumor that a girl from the north showed up earlier today.
Did you? I heard
Yes.
similar things.
Oh, the neighbors are all abuzz about it. Some girl from the north here to vie for the Roasari speaker position.
Well, I'll do my best to make sure that she does not come close.
See to it that she does not. We have worked far too hard in this family to raise you to the position that you are in now.
Bringing dishonor to you and all the hard work and time you've put into me. I would never dream of doing such a thing, Mother. May I retire for the evening? Now.
Yes, get some rest. Seems you have work to do in the coming days.
I do. I will be leaving early in the morning if you would allow it.
If this is the business of Speaker Lai, then allowed.
Not only of the speaker, but also of the oracle.
Her eyes brighten just a little bit at the sound of that. Her head kind of pulled back just a little further. Very well. I trust you will do us proud.
Your trust is well placed, Mother. I will do my best.
Good night, Akari.
Good night, Mother. And as I'm leaving, I make sure she can't see me and I just roll my eyes.
It's your frustration in your face, facing nothing but the shadows of an otherwise still house, retiring to your room to get some rest, prepare for the following morning. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
Can I ask the servants if there's any healing potions in the house?
These servants are mostly retired to bed, but you can definitely kind of wake up a little bit early as they are already, tending to the various chores of the house. The one of the servants that you ask mentions that while there are no healing potions in the house, the family's trusted physician should be able to provide you with some potions.
I would also like to ask in the morning for provisions for 6 people for up to 3 days.
The servants look a little bit surprised at
and I tell them to keep it quiet.
And they kind of nod. Some of them kind of package up some various sort of dried fruits or nuts, some smoked fish, things that they have on hand that keep well, kind of packaged up into these small little banana leaf packages in a sack that they hand to you.
One last thing, I'm sorry. How much gold would I be able to acquire from my own house in like half an hour? Like, how much money can I have?
Are you trying to just obtain money, or are you trying to talk your way into getting it?
I could find my dad. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go find my dad. And I'm gonna ask him for money, like my allowance.
Check in that case.
A persuasion, or what was that?
Persuasion, yeah.
Okay. 17.
Okay. As you find your dad already at work in his study, kind of preparing for the day, you know that your father generally tends to have a lot of meetings through the morning hours following breakfast. As he's preparing his notes and papers and things like that, you walk in asking for a bit of money, explaining your situation to the extent that you are willing to, and he kind of barely makes eye contact. Oh, yes, I do believe that is, you said this was important business?
Speaker business. The Oracle himself mentioned me by name.
Oh, in that case, yes, how much did you need?
Would 300 be too much?
Don't tell your mother.
Never.
As he goes kind of back to a chest in the back of the room, collecting some platinum pieces into a little sack. Gives you a sack of the 30 platinum pieces. Do us proud.
I will. I may not be returning home this evening, so do not wait for me, and do not worry.
Be careful, and if the Oracle is watching, be sure to do the family name proud. We could use some divine favors these days.
All the families wish for them. But I'll ensure that ours will be the one to get it. Do not worry. I will not fail.
He gives a little nod as you pocket this little satchel of coins.
And then, so I'm going to go back to the temple. And at dawn, I'm waiting.
All right. As you approach the temple, Minji is asleep in front of the temple wall, just like curled up against the wall underneath the shelter of the roof. just kind of lightly snoring. The rest of you, when do you arrive?
So, Savon would have wanted to, like, probably that night get all of his provisions. He would get enough, like, food, whatever, for 2 people for a week. um, and then, gather whatever other supplies he can get. I don't know if any of that would include like health potions or anything handy that they probably have.
You would probably be given a single potion of healing for your own purpose.
Good enough. Perfect. And then he would, go to bed, do whatever, and then he would be there like at dawn, like before the sun rises, like crack of dawn. He's already in there. He's probably inside like that little area where they like left, because she said meet here. So he's probably there. He's probably sitting like under that cherry tree.
As you entered, you passed by Minji, who curled up asleep.
Oh.
You just walked by into the temple, kind of into the gardens.
Yeah, I would just kind of look down at him, like shake my head, roll my eyes a little bit, and just keep walking.
Quinn and Kai.
Well, Quinn would prepare some food. Probably not enough for everyone because, like, I don't think he has he probably has the resources for, like, everyone for one day. With his newly acquired cash. And if there's any, like, shops open before he goes, he's gonna try to buy a quarterstaff.
Okay.
How much would that run him?
A very basic, simple one would just run you a single gold piece. If you want something that's a little bit like nicer looking, up to 5 gold, just depending on how ornate you would like it.
Oh, just basic as hell.
Okay, yep, just a single gold. It is a sturdy but plain wooden stick.
Nice. Okay. And how many darts did he make?
In the time that you had in the evening, you could probably have made about 5.
5? Okay. Very good. Alrighty. And as he walks up, does he see Minji?
Minji and Akari staring down at Minji.
He's gonna go up to Akari. Were they here all night?
I look
You
down.
think?
From the state of their clothing, I would say yes.
Uh,
It's not very convincing of their skills. They do not have a place to sleep. They should
Minji,
have
your
said
ears
something.
perk up a little bit at the sound of voices nearby.
Quinn's gonna cast Prestidigitation to just clean Minji up a bit from their dirt nap.
Cleaning without consent.
Minji, you wake up to pretty pristinely clean clothing. Dry, clean, almost looking pressed. As you wake to see Quinn and Akari standing there.
I kind of look at my clothes. I kind of nod as if like thinking they stayed clean throughout the whole night before getting up. And I look over and I see Akari and Quinn. my eyes kind of widen as if like I remembered something, and I reach into like my top part of like my outfit and I bring out my knife. Oh, funeral boy, this is for you. I accidentally hold it out blade first.
Is that a threat?
No. Just take it. I'm still like waving it as I'm talking.
Vaughn, you
Okay,
hear
all right.
voices through the other side of the temple back out front.
I would like stealthily like go and take a peek.
You see Minji holding a knife out and Quinn like hands up.
I just groan into my hands or into my like just.
Is that the only weapon you possess?
No, I can cast magic.
Good.
I'm really good at clapping.
Just kind of cocks an eyebrow. Wonderful. If there is a show of some kind of undead capacity, I'm sure that you'll be their favorite patron.
He kind of looks down at the knife, realizes Quinn's not taking it, and then he just puts it back in his top.
No, I still, if you're offering, you were just waving it at me. That
He kind of just goes back in and brings it out again, hands it out.
takes it.
I kind of look between my naginata in my hand and this tiny knife that's being swapped hands, and I just
Kind of looks like a letter opener.
Exactly what I was thinking of it as.
You can throw it. Maybe.
You're not even convinced it's that sharp.
It's like a butter knife. That's what it is.
It's a blunt weapon.
Plastic butter
bludgeoning
knife.
damage.
It will hurt your ego more than it'll hurt you physically.
It's there for intimidation purposes only.
0 points of damage, but 2 points of psychic damage just for the
Yeah.
the ins-
Just for the humiliation.
Kai.
I think Kai makes the rookie mistake of having Bayou wake him up like at dawn.
And
And
kind of like licked your face a few times. The sun already like pretty decently peeking out from over the mountains.
and he's just like, oh crap, and he like grabs his pack and grabs Bayou and just like sprints back to the courtyard.
As you come running up to the main entrance of the temple, the others are still gathered in front of the main entrance. You see the exchange of a very small decorative knife being passed along, and a new companion that you do not recognize from the knife.
I would be hiding probably,
Okay.
like staying a little out of sight. Yeah.
Then you're probably inside the temple, just waiting.
Yeah.
I've got my hand on my hip and my little toe claws are like tapping impatiently on the ground, just kind of like looking around, almost like, oh gosh, where is he?
As this knife exchange is happening, Akari is looking somewhat pressed for time. As you come running up, Akari, you hear the little footsteps running up the stone across the bridge and up past the temple gates behind you.
Good
He
of you
runs
to join us.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm late. I thought we just said in the morning. I didn't know it was going to be quite this early.
Well, you don't go to a place called the Forbidden City if it's dark. Best you
Okay.
get as much light as you can.
With
Yeah.
that, while she's saying that, I'm gonna take one of my. I actually probably have a small mirror on me, and like these tools or something like that. So I'd probably either take a small mirror or a really shiny knife, whatever I have, and kind of like reflect the light off of it into Akari's face.
I like remain composed, just like blinking away and no, just like being composed, being like, I'm trained for this. It's fine. I've got this. As I'm talking to Kai. We are waiting for one more, apparently. He wanted to join us last night.
Still just.
the rest of you notice just this nice little
Yeah.
sheen on Akari's face that just keeps moving around.
I would probably keep doing it, but as I'm doing it, I'd like shift into like whatever doorway or window way or whatever that I'm standing in and do like the cool guy stance where I have like my arms crossed and I'm leaned up against it with like my foot propped up, but I'm still just like shining the mirror into her face. Good morning, princess.
Good morning, No Name. Good of you to join us as well. Are you coming, or are you going to play around like a child?
I'm not the child here. And I look over at Kai.
When Savan says princess, Kai is gonna like look at Akari, and his eyes just get like huge.
Minji's doing the exact same thing. He's just like, oh, okay.
I'm a
Kinda just
daughter of
cocks
the
his head.
Kane family, not a princess. Noble is different than
Close
royalty.
enough.
Oh.
Different. Although being annoying and being a ninja seems to be one and the same.
He just kind of
Close
shrugs.
enough.
Close enough.
Well, I look around at all of them. I assume that you've all made the proper provisions. Shall we go?
I guess so, if everyone's here.
This is all there is, so let us be on our way.
For a noble, you're awfully bad at introductions.
Would you care to introduce yourself then?
Aren't
You were the
supposed to do
one
it
that
first?
was. You were the one who was sneaking around spying on us, so I assumed that you already knew all of our names from last night.
But isn't it the proper lady thing to do?
Only when the receiving party is of a similar social status.
Ooh.
Or do you think yourself above your station?
Stations don't mean very much to me,
Clearly.
but you can call me Savan. And you, princess?
You may call me Lady Kane.
I like princess more. What about you, child? Gestures at Kai.
My name's Kai. But if you prefer the old guy, we can do that. But it seems kind
I
of
mean, it'd
silly
make me
now.
feel a little less like this is a field trip, but it's up
I
to
mean,
you.
I-
I don't want you to use your magical resources.
I mean, I guess then I wouldn't be the only one wearing a mask, right?
He just kind of like shakes his head, just like, oh no. Gestures at Minji. Are you still on the ground?
Oh no, I'm standing up now.
Okay.
I've gotten up. He just kind of.
And well, are you deaf?
No. He kind of just smiles for a second before bowing, and he's just introduces himself. I'm Minji.
All right. And you, funeral boy?
He's kind of he looks kind of shocked at the funeral boy name. Like, oh, is this what they're gonna call me by?
I kind
Quinn
of.
or Quinvin?
I step forward a little. He buried his father yesterday, and his name is Quinn. Just because you are in the business of murdering doesn't mean other people are accustomed to death. Show some respect.
Murder? I mean, he seems to not have cared very much considering he's just up and about and doing what he wants the day after.
We all deal with
He
death
kind of like
differently.
looks over. I suppose we do. He looks at her in this way of like, Savon will remember that.
Quinn will remember that.
He still has his hood up and like both of his masks on, by the way, so he's still really hard to see. Well,
the morning is
might-
gray still, a little bit more sunlight kind of peeking through as the sun slowly rising upon the five of you standing outside of the temple grounds.
Well, then, if you are done causing dissension amongst our group, we should be on our way, Savan.
Just sizing you all up. Wanted to make sure I wasn't walking into a death trap.
Pity it won't be for you.
I hope you all are accustomed to death because it might come sooner than you think. And he's going to start walking ahead of her.
I let him. And then I take the right way to the Forbidden City.
Whatever, he knows where it is.
You go left,
You're
I
like,
go right.
I know the alternate route. I'm going to take the detour because I don't want to walk with this guy. He's a jerk.
Comes like the fork in the road that kind of circumvents the academy and the library before
We meet back.
going to the other side. Akari goes one way, Savan goes the other way, the three of you behind. Just looking between you.
Kai would follow Akari because she's the
Same.
one that he's familiar with,
Same.
and would just be like really confused about where Savan was going.
Vaughn would absolutely know that, like, I mean, he would know that it would just kind of go around and to the right direction, and he would know that nobody's following him because why would they? He was just a big dick. So he's going to go until he sees them go all one direction, and then he's going to cut across and, like, sneakily follow behind them.
You like kind of hop over climb up the gates of the academy, kind of make your way across the lawn, jump back over as you follow them along.
You're such an edgy ninja.
As you guys, now with Akari in the lead, make your way to the northeast portion of town where the newer walls had been erected in order to kind of wall off this older kind of derelict area of the city. As you approach what is known as the Forgotten District, there are no gates on the side of the wall. It is just solid wall that was built off. The one gate that had previously existed has now been sealed up with stone. And as you approach the Forgotten City just outside, this area of town is very, very quiet. Even now, most of it has been turned into farmland, with most people not being willing to live directly next to the wall, next to the Forgotten District. As you make your way through farmland, you attract a few odd stares. You're kind of an eclectic group of individuals making your way through what is really a poorer area of the city. And as you approach the remnants of the gate now sealed up, that is where we will pick up next time. But not next time. Down the road.
Not next time, but next time.
We've got some other plot threads to address in the meantime. But thank you all so much for joining us. This has been our 5th chapter now of Shadows of Khadesa. As always, you can follow all of our players' social media links. Their social media handles have been posted right around their lovely faces. Thanks so much again for joining us. Stay tuned as we continue to get into the mysteries of this city. And we will see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.